Hello, we are starting the section on daily management for strategy execution. People are coming, and thank you very much for all of you that are attending. We will have a lecture from Pharaoh. I will present him to you. And after that, you will be able to make questions in the Q&A tab. So it's a great pleasure for me to be the moderator in this session. José Ferro is one of the pioneers in the Lean community. You saw him together with Jim Omaki, Dan Jones, and Jim Morgan yesterday in a section. Ferro participated in the regional research at MIT that bring to the world the book, The Machine That Changed the World. And the Ferro founded the Lean Institute in Brazil, was the second one in our Lean Global Network, and he helped several institutes around the world to be established. And now Ferro is in part of the board in the Lean Institute Brazil and also at Lean Enterprise Institute in US. Hello, Ferro. Welcome.
Good. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I hear we have people from Italy, from the UK, from Colombia in the audience. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for being with us. And we will talk about the data management, a core concept for a lean transformation. And Ferro is co-author of a recent book on that subject, together with Robson Gouveia, director of Lean Institute Brazil. So he will bring to us some ideas about this important concept, what's data management, why it's important for a lean transformation, what results we can get from it, and so on. So Ferro, please, you can start your presentation. Thank you very much. And for all of you, during the presentation, you can put questions in the Q&A. At the end, we can answer them. Thank you very much.
Well, this presentation about daily management came from our experience over the years, I would say the decade or more, on daily management. We noticed that many companies were using some sort of a visual management. Many companies, as part of their lean transformation efforts, were doing some sort of daily meetings in different areas of the company. Many companies started to take more seriously their product solving activities closer to the processes. So we decided to take a more comprehensive approach to daily management. We noticed that in the literature, there's a lot of contributions, but we think we could add a little bit of our contribution based on the experiences we had with many companies. So this represents our learning over, this past years of working with companies in their lean transformation efforts. What are some of the main gaps in strategy planning? You can go to the literature. We are not academics, so but it's interesting to read what's out there, and we see a lot of gaps, a lot of problems. Flavio Pichi, our president of Lean Institute Brazil, recently conducted some surveys about that in our community, in the Brazilian Lean community, and we heard similar things than the literature talks about. And some of them are poor formulation. The strategy is not deployed. It's bad execution. It's slow to react to changes and doesn't involve everyone. So these some of the issues. And to our surprise, for example, poor formulation was not the most relevant one. So many companies felt that they were able to formulate a good strategy, but when it comes to deploying and executing, then the gaps were much higher. So this just reinforces our need for a systematic approach to daily management. Another piece of this puzzle is in traditional management, problems are detected mainly afterwards, mainly when the customer complains, when there is a need for rework, or you have bad results, financial or other performance metrics that you may need at the end of a period. And sometimes the period is very long, like weeks or months. So that's what drove us to think about more deeply about daily management. Because what is common with those problems? They are already too big, and the damage is already made. It's too late. Um, so we have to think about those questions, why they became so big. What could we have done to avoid this? Um, because when problems are small, they are often lost, they're often ignored. So based on those two pieces, what are the main gaps in strategy planning and the way we deal with problems on a daily basis when they're still small, this inspired us to think more seriously about daily management. So that's what it's a case for a strong daily management process in order to achieve the strategic objectives that we define by following the targets, in this case, daily targets, and solving the problems that we have every day. So the key issue here is every day you have a process to check to see if your objectives are being achieved, if your specific targets are being hit. And if not, what are the problems that we're facing? And let's try to solve them at the moment, every day. So that's the case for daily management. And in the book, we define basically three parts in the book. One is how to design the daily management process. So, how do we define the business priorities, the main KPIs we use for all the key processes? And then you establish the control boards, which I will mention briefly soon. And then the execution. We define the design of the daily management system or process that you're going to have. And then you focus on the people side, the leadership, the team, and the problem solving activities that are going to be critical for the success of the daily management activities. And then, of course, PDCA, how you maintain and how you keep improving your daily management process. In the design of your daily management, what are the main blocks, the main building blocks of the daily management process? We suggested that we need three basic blocks. The first one is the commitment. The second one is the variables that we're going to control. And the third piece is the problem-solving activity. Oftentimes, those three pieces are disconnected. Sometimes even there's a visual management for those pieces, but they must be integrated. The commitment, the variables that you're going to control, and the problem-solving activities. So I will go on to be more specific about each one of them. The commitment, it consists of basically the purpose. So we're talking about daily management, for example, in every area of the company, in every value-adding process, in every support functions. So we're talking about what happens at the front lines. So this is what we're talking about here. In the book, you're going to see a more elaborate approach. But for our purpose today, I'm going to focus basically on this type of what we call operational daily management at the operations level. So when we talk about that, the commitment consists of what is the purpose? What is the purpose of that specific area? How is that connected with the strategy? How is it connected with the purpose of the company, with the priorities, with the true north? And then specifically, we can ask ourselves, what has been our history? What has been our performance on that specific area? And then how many people we have, what's the qualification of those people, and additional resources that we have. So basically, the commitment is what are the conditions that we have to achieve the purpose of that specific area. Then, after this, after we define this, and this is the beginning of the building block of, of daily management. This is the beginning. This is the directly coming from the strategy. And then, what are we going to follow? What are we going to manage every day? So, what are the daily targets for that specific process, for that specific area? So what are we going to be controlling and managing every day? And then what is the help chain? What happens when you have a problem? Even before you start your daily management activities in the process itself, what happens? And also, what is the help chain in the daily management process? And what are the basic standards? What are the work standards for that particular area? So this consists of this block of the daily management. And then finally, the problem solving. The third piece of daily management is every time when you're measuring something, every time you have a red, you have a target that was not achieved in that particular day, we have a problem. We need to do something. So for every red, we need a plan to green. That means what are we going to do? What actions we have to do? What, when, who, and how to address the root causes. If possible, during that daily meeting, sometimes it's not possible. So you need a more systematic approach. Like, for example, you can open a problem-solving a tree, for example, for a more systemic and a problem that needs deeper investigation. So those are the three pieces of the daily management process. The commitment, consisting of the purpose, the history, and the people and resources, the variables that you're going to control and manage every day, and what is the help chain, and what are the basic standards, the work standards, and then the problem-solving system that you are going to use. This is just a picture of one, by the way, old case. And you see here visually the connection with the strategy. You see people standing up. You have a leader there talking to the people. And there's clearly that on the left side there, you see the connection with the strategy. So how that specific process, and this is a manufacturing activity, this is an area within a company, what is the connection to the strategy of that specific area? And then in the middle, what are the daily targets? What are we measuring? What are we trying to control every day? And on the right, you see the problems that are emerging. You see, maybe you can see the image, but you see some reds there. And so for every red, you have to describe what's the problem. And then on the far right, what you're going to do about, what are the actions. So you see here the three blocks of daily management and the control boards that we suggest to be used. So this is an image coming from the book. So basically what we do here, we have quick meetings to understand what happened and take some actions. And of course, not only to understand what happened, but also understand what are the risks that we may have in the upcoming day. So the idea behind this is every day, a team of people are working to solve problems. And through this process, they are developing their capabilities. So it's a process to help achieve the objectives by solving problems and by developing the capabilities of the people. How to execute daily management? It's very important how we make it operational. So basically, we suggest that define a time and follow a discipline, respecting start and finish. If you have a good day, you can finish early, but to start on time every day. It's very important. Um, 15 to 30 minutes is enough. No, you don't need more than that. Information must be updated. Every day you must have the current information about what happened the day before, for example. And the leadership involvement is fundamental. Without the leadership, we don't have the success that we may need. So you're going to see here, time management. You see the leadership there. You see the update of the information there. So this is fundamental to execute daily management. What kind of behaviors we expect in daily management? Well, in the book, there is a whole chapter about that. But here I will simplify. And basically, the purpose of the leadership is to create an environment that is psychologically safe for an effective engagement. So this is fundamental. This is the job of leadership, to create this condition. So the team, the people involved should be comfortable to talk about problems. They shouldn't be afraid of exposing problems. They shouldn't be hiding them. They should be comfortable to talk about problems. It doesn't mean they should be happy about that, but they should be feeling comfortable to talk about that. It's okay to take risk and fail. We are learning. So every day we're learning. So in this learning process, it's okay to take risks and it's okay to fail. Transparency and honesty. The data that we have, the problems that we have, the metrics that we use, the actions that we take, it should all be clear. And it should be there on the board, and people should trust those numbers, should trust those actions, should trust the leadership. So we shouldn't be afraid. So eliminating fear, this is one piece of eliminating fear, because we are talking about something very objective and we are transparent about it. Then leadership should allow freedom to expose opinions. We all have different opinions, and that's good. So diversity is very good. We don't know some of the answers, so we may need to test some ideas. So freedom to expose different ideas is fundamental to be able to create this safe environment for everybody. The assumption that everybody is learning always, everybody, including the leadership. We don't know many of the answers, so we need to learn, and we need to learn about our work. So we're talking about the one specific area of the company. So it's about the work people do. And don't forget about the commitment piece of the daily management, which is the purpose and what our customers, what is the value of this activity. This is fundamental. Without understanding the purpose and without understanding what is customer value and who are our customers and what's value for them, with this you can have a much more productive daily management process. What happens without daily management? What we have, just a simplification of the reality. What happens when you have a problem is that it takes some time. This is a timeline, and it takes some time for us to take some action and then to go back to the curve, to the previous performance level. Because the results are only checked at the end of the shift or the week of the month, and there's a delay. There's a time lag between we noticed the problem and we did something to correct it. So we struggle to recover performance. With daily management, what we have is, as soon as you notice a problem, we take some action almost immediately, and then we go back to the previous condition. So the results are followed almost continuously, very little delay to correct variation. And the visual controls should be able to help us to see the deviations very rapidly and drive our immediate action. So we reduce this time lag. So we solve problems quickly. And by doing that, we manage to keep our performance levels where we want them to be. So to finalizing this, daily management is key to avoid surprises, to deepen problem solving. As you might be familiar with the four types of problem, specifically type 2 and 3. Type 1, we expect to be fixed the type 1 problems while people are working. So basically, we suggest that problems type 2 and 3 are the types of problem we should be focusing on the daily management process. It generates learning for the whole organization, for everybody, involving everyone, giving a sense of purpose to their work, and achieve high competitiveness. So our performance level is as we expect. And every time there is a problem, we are able to fix them to guarantee the performance we are expecting. Okay, so after you execute your daily management process, you should be able to maintain and improve. And in the book, we have one specific part to talk about this, because we're going to be doing Kaizen, we're going to be doing PDCA in our daily management process, and we have some tips, some ideas on how to do that. For many of you familiar with our Lean Transformation Framework, daily management is a fundamental part of the management system. You may be familiar with the 5 elements and the questions around the Lean Transformation Framework. There has been a lot of presentations about this in our event. So daily management is a fundamental piece of the management system. And then to finalize, well, we hope to have this book available in Spanish soon and also in English. We have many interesting examples in the book about different sectors, not only this more conceptual description that we mentioned, that I mentioned in my presentation. So this book with Robson Gouveia, director of Lean Institute Brazil, we try to do a practical contribution. So we hope that with this book, you can take some action. You can start doing your daily management, or you can improve your daily management by using those concepts that we propose. We have many examples. We have examples in healthcare, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in software development, in knowledge creation, in services. So we have different examples. The concepts are very similar, but how you approach and how you embedded daily management into the management system depends on every case and every situation. So thank you very much, Flavio, for hosting this event. And I really challenge you guys to take a look at how you manage every day. What kinds of activities you do every day. If you are doing problem solving every day, that's very good. If you have metrics that you follow every day, that's good. If you have people joining this activity every day, excellent. It's all visual, very good. But be sure to connect those pieces together, and be sure to have the right behavior and the right engagement of the people. With this, you can really execute your strategy. So your strategy becomes live and becomes embedded in what people do every day. And then you have the commitment and the involvement of the people and the alignment necessary to make a successful strategy. Thank you very much.
Nice. Thank you, Pharaoh. Thank you very much for the presentation. And now we have several questions in the Q&A. The first one was about the translations, and you also already responded that. So the second question from Lindsay: how to convince the shop floor leadership to manually update indicators and charts daily? how to avoid it becoming paintings on the wall. Do you have an example of team resistance?
Yeah. Well, um, it's as I mentioned, it's a leadership thing. It's a discipline of the leadership. I I don't I if you have the commitment of the leadership, if you have this process of connecting, it becomes the job of the leadership, because then strategy becomes real. And the strategy becomes real only when you understand what you have to do every day to achieve those strategic objectives, and what is the connection between your area, your department, to those objectives. You have to do it. Just do it. There's no secret. Just follow. If you don't follow it, then you have to do a study on what are the root causes of this. What's happening? What's happening with your leadership? Because there's something wrong. To talk about the translation, Flavio Piqui, we have Juan here making a comment, say, in Spanish, in progress. Okay, we don't have a date yet, Juan, but we hope to do it soon. In English, it's on the way. Portugal, I don't know how we're going to make sure to have this book available. Vera, we'll be talking to you after this event. We'll be sending you a note.
Hope we will have soon the translations in several languages.
Yes. Okay.
Another question from Eli Adam. Often it happens that people come to the meeting presenting only the problem and without thinking of possible solutions. Do you have any suggestions for handling similar situations?
Yes, we at the daily management meetings, every time you have a red, that means you didn't achieve the target. That shouldn't have been the first time you approach the problem. So as the problem emerges, you should try to fix it as it emerges. Well, first of all, the employee that has been involved in that should try it first. Try something. Try to fix it. Type 1 problem solving. Okay. If he or she can't, then ask for help, and the help comes. Okay. Then and then the help chain should try to fix the problem as it appears at the front lines. Then, if you can't fix it, or if it's relevant enough, then this goes to the daily management. So a red doesn't go at the board without having an attempt, a description, at least a description of the attempt, what you try to do. So you start the daily management looking at a red, and then the leadership should ask the following question: what have you tried that didn't work? Because then you start the problem-solving process at the daily management meeting based on what has been tried before, and it didn't work. So it's not the start of the problem-solving process, but it's a continuation of the problem-solving process, because either the worker couldn't fix it, the help chain came and didn't fix it. So in a sense, daily management is one step in the help chain process.
Okay, Carol, we have the last two questions. If you could answer in 30 seconds each one. And from Fabio, what to not to do when you use daily management?
Well, I think I tried to answer that. Don't separate. Don't use it for communication purposes or to give orders. It's not a communication process only thing. It's a performance meeting, and it's a problem-solving meeting. It has this purpose. So don't use it for socializing. Don't use it for just communication.
Yes. And the last one from Alana: how can we start in a company with low level of maturity, where the leadership knows nothing about the goal deployment and daily management?
Well, that's a great way to start. That's a perfect way to start. How to start with the management strategic objectives, how to make sense to every area of the company. So how every area of the company is connected with the strategy. You can start, by the way, anytime. If you don't have a very profound, very deep, very solid strategic management process, if you don't have a Hoshin Kanri process, don't be afraid to start. Start in every process. And we have cases in our book that present exactly that. You start at the process level and start defining the metrics that you use every day. You start the problem-solving process, and then sometimes it helps to fix the strategy. So don't be shy. Don't worry about that. Start. Pick an area and start.
Great. I think it was a great final message. So thank you very much, Farrell. Thank you all of you that attended this section, and hope you really use daily management in your company to solve your problems and evolve your performance. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.